Jamaal Marvel is a Virginia native who's known for blending the best of hip-hop, R&B, funk and pop into a unique sound that's captured the hearts of music lovers everywhere. And TCvsChanze is a rapper who got her start as a slam poet and quickly transitioned her poetry into music. And together, Jamaal Marvel and TCvsChanze have collaborated on a hit single called Saturday Night Lights, which has gone viral on TikTok and amassed almost 200,000 streams on Spotify alone. And they've also recently released a collaborative EP called Saturday Night, The Party Pack. And Jamaal and TCvsChanze are both on the line with us here. How are you both today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm brilliant, thank you. So, how did this collaboration come about?
To be honest, this was long in the making. Me and Jamaal have known each other for a long time, and it was a no-brainer doing this song with him. I already knew he was talented since we grew up with each other. So his singing and my rapping, I just knew that we could have like a great song together.
Do you find that your styles work well together? Because Jamaal, you're a mixture of hip hop and R&B and funk, and then TCvsChanze, you kind of have poetry. So I guess one's musical and one's lyrical. Do they work well together?
Yeah, most definitely. I think our styles come from a core love of music overall, right? And we pull from similar decades and time periods, and not necessarily the sound of the time period, but the energy and the feeling that comes from certain time periods. So when you think about the 90s and the early 2000s, you think about or the 70s and 80s, you think about feel-good music, essentially. Yeah. And that's what we both kind of do in our own different pockets. So bringing both of those loves for that type of genre, for that nostalgic feeling, and pushing it together and melding together into something unique was just was going to happen at some point.
Yeah. And the hit single is called Saturday Night Lights, and it's gone viral on TikTok, which is no surprise to me. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I sometimes I'm just doing music. TC is like, oh, we went viral on TikTok. I'm like, what? So, and that's really kind of like catapulted the song in general. And actually now it's over, well over 200,000 plays on Spotify. And the song just keeps going. And I think one thing that, we love about the song itself is, I talked about earlier, that energy and that feeling. Whenever somebody speaks about the song or talks about it, that's one thing they always bring up. It's like how it makes them feel, right?
Yeah.
Artist, like there's no better compliment is to get someone to tell you, hey, you make me feel, so I really, really love that track is doing that for people.
Yeah. And how would you describe it lyrically? Let's go for TC on this because she's the poet of you two.
Lyrically, we wanted to tell a story with the song. The entire song, if you listen to it, is just really, what is it like going out on a Saturday night with your friends? Yeah. And even when we sat down and wrote the song, that was the premise. All right, so what is it like when we're going out? And even when I was personally writing at my friend's house with all my group of friends, and we would stop and be like, hey, what's the first thing that we would do? And the line where finally pull into the club and we coasting. My friend's like, well, we're gonna be late.
Yeah.
And so that's where that line was inspired from, because we really took real life scenarios on what is it like getting ready, going out, having fun with your friends, and really just building a storyline in that song.
And do you think that yourself, coming from a slam poetry background, you are better at lyrics than the average musician?
Yeah, honestly, because I think more about what I'm saying and how I say it has meaning. Even when you do slam poetry, everything, how you articulate, how you actually lower or raise your voice makes the poem more powerful. So you can even hear that when I'm rapping, that I articulate my words a certain way. I have, if you listen to my ad-libs, everybody says my ad-libs are crazy because I use my voice to show the energy that we're going for.
Do you ever worry that the poetry that you spend a lot of time working on kind of gets undermined by the music itself, and people would pay more attention to it if it was just a poem.
Nah, not at all. Honestly, I feel like they go hand in hand. They blend beautifully together. I feel like the music enhances the poetry. It enhances the lyrics. Everything just flows together.
Now, Jamaal, you have many different genres that you focus on. How do you keep in touch with them all? And do they all get their fair share? Do they all rear their head every now and again?
Yeah, they do actually. So I have this belief, right? Call me crazy, but I feel like music speaks, right? I feel like just the instrumentals themselves, a tone, a certain texture to a beat or sound within a beat, kind of gives me an idea of what should be said, or the vibe of the actual sound should kind of been, addressed, right? And depending on what I'm getting, it depends on what I'm pulling from. So when we talk about different genres of music, I might have a beat or a sound that might be more hip hop, right? But that might be this element in it that just reminds me of just like this rock concept or this funk concept. So I'm like, all right, when I'm making this song, I definitely want to take a piece of that and incorporate it into this hip hop or R&B song. So it really depends on the music itself as far as what I pour from. And then also too, just like everybody else, in the world, I get inspired from what I hear. I listen to new artists that come out, old songs that come out. I might have listened to a certain genre or certain artist that week, and that might influence, what I'm inspired to sit down and create.
You're a producer as well. So do you produce your own music? And did you produce this song and EP?
Yes, so I do produce my own music, but this song and this EP, I didn't. Actually, it's the first time that I've ever not produced a track that I did. That was the SNL was the very first time I ever did that. We're always growing, we're always changing. One thing I always want to do as an artist is not be boring.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you take in, how many things that we bring in to increase our pool of things that we draw upon and things that inspire us, it still comes through the filter of us, right?
Yeah.
One thing I've learned about collaborating, when you use beats from other producers, you get a piece of them as well, right? So although it's still coming through the filter of you, it's something completely different. It's a completely different sound or element that you might have not have ever thought to create or put into it, and now you get to play and work with that element. So and then for this pack as well too, we work with two producers, with three producers. Two of the songs came from the same producer, and then one of the remixes, the Ghost remix, came from an artist out in Indonesia, and then the Late Night Vibes one is a coworker of mine. He made that beat. I lie to you not, honestly, on his phone in 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that pack has so many different things going for it. You have, the energy that we created when we created the original SNL, and then you have that same vibe and energy that inspired other people to kind of give their interpretation of it. So it's just a circle or cycle of just positivity and good vibes and good energy.
So you're a rapper, singer, songwriter, and producer. Is there anything you don't do, or are you just showing off at this point?
Honestly, so I started off just singing. I was really shy, and then I got used to working with friends. I was traveling and I was performing, and it was always individuals who played live instruments. So I never had to worry about beats. They played it on the piano, on the guitar, on the drums. Like I never had to worry about that. And from traveling and changing, we separated from that group. I was like, man, like I sing, but I don't do any of this other stuff. But I need sounds to sing too. So I started making beats, and then I was in a group for a while, and we had a rapper, and I did R&B and pop strictly then. And after we kind of left that group, I was like, man, I need a rapper, and I don't have a rapper, so I'll rap. so I just started, reaching out because those are things I wanted to incorporate in my music. And I guess the best place to start is yourself.
Yeah. Well, what's coming up for you two? Have you got any more projects together or on your own?
Me and Jamaal, with the release of the Party Pack, actually decided it would be cool for us to actually form a group together and be called TC and Jamaal. So we're going to have a few collaborative projects together. And of course, we're going to have our own individual careers where we're still going to do stuff. So I'm working on an EP called More Than Just a Lover Girl, that title is coming because majority of my music is feel-good love music, but I also want people to remember that I can actually rap for real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to be like, oh, you just write love songs. So it's going to be a variation of songs where it is my love songs, but songs like where I'm going hardcore, like bar for bar. That's when you're going to see the real lyricism that I have, because I'm going to hit them with bars and lyrics that they're gonna be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So that's my next project coming up.
Excellent. And what about you, Jamaal? Have you got anything, or I guess part of that involves you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Me and TC are always talking. So there's songs already slotted, things that we're already working on together. That will be coming out in the next year, 2-3 years down the road. We have, things that we're talking about. As far as solo projects, same here. I'm a planner, so I have 3 albums slotted over the next 5-6 years. So I'm looking to release. The first one drops in April. So essentially what it is I also write on the side. I do novels, sci-fi, fantasy type novels, anime. So this album series and my book series are kind of crossover. So the artwork I use for my book series is also the artwork I use on my album covers, things like that, characters, things like that. So the album that I'm releasing in April, it's a mixture of everything I've kind of done before this point that has brought me to be the artist I am today. So it would be some songs from my older project, some of the favorite songs from that, plus about 8 brand new songs that kind of represent where I'm at now and kind of tied into the actual novel and the book and the characters that are in that as well. So that drops on April. And then, and there's more stuff to come. And the album drops in 2025 as well, too. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well into the future there. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. Where are we able to find this current song, Saturday Night Lights, and also the EP, Saturday Night, The Party Pack?
You can find it everywhere. Anywhere that music is being streamed, you can find it. If you search TCvsChanze, so Jamaal Marvel, you will be able to find all of our music, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, whatever music streaming service you use. Every social media is the same way as well, too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those locations as well, too.
Excellent. Well, many thanks to both of you for coming on today. It's been great talking to you.
It's been great to be here.
Definitely. Thank you so much for the interview.